Hello everyone. Welcome to Slurp Knowledge, a channel where we share health and science knowledge in short, easy-to-digest videos, just like instant noodles for your brain. Please note the knowledge in this video is gathered from various scientific sources. If you have any ideas, corrections, or thoughts to add, feel free to leave a comment below. Today we're going to explore an invisible friend that stays with us through every step we take, every thought we have, and every emotion we feel, and that is the nervous system. You may not see it, but it's always there, guiding every tiny movement and even the biggest decisions in your life. Imagine that right now, as you're listening to me, your nervous system is working non-stop. Your eyes see, your ears hear, your brain receives information, and your body responds smoothly. It's fast, sophisticated, and sometimes even a little sneaky, surprising you with what your own body can do. And the interesting thing is, although it controls everything, you barely notice its presence. It's like a silent director, making sure everything runs perfectly, from your heartbeat, your sense of pain, to the joy, sadness, and memories running through your mind. So if the nervous system is the control system, then the brain is the command center, where emotions, memories, and thoughts are formed and coordinated. That's why, to better understand how we think, remember, and feel, the next step in our journey is to explore the brain, the center of emotion, memory, and cognition. When you look at someone smiling, listen to your favorite song, or recall a sunny childhood afternoon, few people realize that every one of those experiences comes from billions of neurons dancing in the brain. The brain isn't just a soft mass sitting quietly in the skull. It is the command center of all your actions, thoughts, emotions, reflexes, and memories. Every time you breathe, move, learn something new, or even dream of something that hasn't happened yet, the brain is running a complex, non-stop system. Have you ever wondered why you remember things better after sleeping? When we sleep, the brain enters a very important stage called REM sleep. This is when the brain reorganizes data. New memories are examined, sorted, linked with old knowledge, and unnecessary information is removed. Just like when you clean your house, throwing away broken items and organizing important ones, the brain is also cleaning, storing, and strengthening useful information. That's why a good night's sleep helps you remember faster, think more clearly, and feel more refreshed the next day. But the brain doesn't only process information during sleep. Even when you're awake, it's constantly analyzing, evaluating, and predicting. When you hear your morning alarm, the brain immediately judges, is this sound important? Do I need to react right now? When you see a cat run across the road, the brain decides whether you should reach out to pet it or step back. These seemingly unconscious decisions are the result of hundreds of thousands of neural connections working together seamlessly. And you've probably experienced the feeling of forgetting what you were about to say right in the middle of a conversation. This isn't laziness or bad memory. It's simply that the brain regions responsible for processing information are busy juggling too many tasks at once. You're trying to listen, think, and maintain your emotions all at the same time, and the brain must decide what to prioritize first. This shows just how complex and incredibly multitasking the brain is, something even modern supercomputers still can't match. Everyone's memory works differently. Some people remember well through images. They can visualize scenes, faces, and colors as if watching a movie. Others remember through sound. They recall melodies, voices, and rhythms easily. Even when two people experience the same event, each will remember it differently because the brain connects and processes information in its own unique physiological pattern. That's why some people understand a lesson after hearing it once, while others need to write it multiple times. Emotions are also inseparable from the brain. When you're happy, the brain releases dopamine, making you excited and eager to act. When you're sad, serotonin decreases, making you slower and more tired. It sounds complicated, but these are simply very delicate reactions of the brain and hormones. They work so quietly that everything feels natural, but behind it all is an invisible system working tirelessly. The brain is also deeply involved in abstract thinking, creativity, and problem-solving. When you draw, compose music, plan a project, or find a solution to an unexpected challenge, the brain is forming new neural connections, opening pathways of thought that didn't exist before. That's why ideas often appear suddenly when you're showering or walking. Your brain is working behind the scenes, combining information from multiple regions to create a creative solution. And here's something interesting. The brain also determines how you perceive the world. When you hear music, smell a scent, or see colors, these sensations aren't simply sent back to you. The brain analyzes, evaluates, and connects them with your current memories and emotions. That's why the same music can make one person excited and another nostalgic. When you draw, exercise, or create something, the brain uses energy while also releasing happy hormones, helping you feel relaxed and less stressed. This is why art therapy and sports are always beneficial to mental health. When you're stressed or anxious, the brain switches into red alert mode. The amygdala, the danger detection center, becomes very active and keeps telling the brain, something's wrong. Your body reacts immediately. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tense, and your breathing becomes rapid. Because the brain is focused on handling the perceived threat, it temporarily shuts down rational thinking. It's like trying to do homework when a fire alarm suddenly goes off. You can't focus on anything except escaping. That's why concentrating while stressed becomes extremely difficult. This is why reading while stressed makes it harder to absorb information. Conversely, when you relax, more oxygen reaches the brain, your rational thinking regions work at full capacity, and memory and creativity improve significantly. Another fascinating aspect is that memory isn't fixed. When you recall something, the brain reconstructs the memory, sometimes adding or removing details or adjusting emotions, making you believe in a new memory that still feels true. This is why many people feel certain they remember something accurately even though details have changed. The brain is both the recorder, the artist, and the storyteller, shaping memories into what feels real to you. In short, the brain isn't just a command center. It is a factory of emotions, a storage of memories, a hub of creativity and dreams, where every hour, every day, billions of neurons are working nonstop. And the most amazing part, the brain can grow, adapt, and change throughout life. This gives us the chance to learn, improve, strengthen our memory, and boost creativity at any time. After this section, you'll see that the brain isn't just a biological organ. It's your companion, mentor, protector, and even an artist living inside you. And next, we'll dive into the spinal cord, where incredible reflexes happen, where the body can react even before the conscious mind realizes what's going on, like a rapid response branch of the brain that helps you survive and adapt to every situation. If the brain is the command center of the entire body, then the spinal cord is the neural highway where signals travel back and forth between the brain and every part of the body. Imagine driving on a modern expressway where information from the suburbs, your hands, feet, and skin, is delivered quickly, accurately, and on time to the control center. Each signal is like a tiny car carrying information about temperature, pressure, movement, or even pain. And the spinal cord manages all of this at incredible speed, allowing the brain to respond precisely and instantly. The most amazing part is that the spinal cord can handle some reflexes on its own without the brain's involvement. That's why you pull your hand back immediately when touching something hot, even before you realize the danger. Imagine you're cooking and your hand touches a hot pot. The pain signal reaches the spinal cord, the reflex triggers, and you pull your hand away instantly. Only a few milliseconds later does the brain receive the message. Your hand is burned and you finally feel the pain. This seemingly simple reflex demonstrates an extremely important role of the spinal cord. It is the emergency processor that protects you from potential dangers. If the spinal cord is injured, these highways are blocked, signals can't pass through, and you lose movement or sensation below the injury. That's why even a small injury to the spinal cord can lead to paralysis or loss of control. But the spinal cord doesn't only act in emergencies. It is essential in everyday activities. When you walk, stretch, or bend down to pick something up, the spinal cord constantly sends signals to your muscles, adjusting strength and rhythm. When you bend down, it coordinates signals from your eyes, ears, and muscle sensors to keep you balanced. The spinal cord works like a high-speed data processor, helping you fine-tune your movement without having to think about it. Another example many people experience is fainting after a hard fall. Why does this happen? When the body experiences strong impact, an intense wave of signals reaches the spinal cord and brain. The control centers may temporarily shut down, causing a brief loss of consciousness. This is a protective mechanism to reduce further injury, a reminder of how sensitive and sophisticated the spinal cord is. Spinal reflexes also explain many everyday phenomena. When a child learns to ride a bicycle, their hands on the handlebars, legs pedaling, eyes watching the road, the spinal cord and brain work together to maintain balance. You don't consciously think, now I bend my left knee, stretch my right leg, tilt to the left. All of it happens automatically through complex reflexes coordinated by the spinal cord. And it's not just movement. The The spinal cord is involved in basic reflexes like coughing, sneezing, swallowing, and urinating. We rarely think about them, but if these mechanisms were disrupted, life would become extremely difficult. This shows how fast, subtle, and essential the spinal cord is. Just like the brain, the spinal cord works closely with the peripheral nervous system to keep the body running smoothly. When the brain commands run, the signal travels down the spinal cord, then through peripheral nerves to your legs. In just milliseconds, muscles contract, your heart rate rises, and your lungs expand to prepare the body for movement. If these communication lines are damaged or slow, the body can't react in time, increasing danger. A familiar daily example is slipping on a wet sidewalk. Your foot slips, but your body reacts instantly. Your arms reach out, your legs adjust to stop you from falling. This reflex happens before you even consciously register. "Oh no, I'm slipping." It's a perfect demonstration of the teamwork between the spinal cord, brain, and peripheral nerves. All of this shows that the spinal cord isn't just a signal conduit. It's an emergency processor, a movement coordinator, and a protective barrier. If the brain is the commander, the spinal cord is the loyal right hand, always ready to act before you even think. In the next part, as we explore the peripheral nervous system, you'll see how the spinal cord acts as the center, while the peripheral nerves are the countless streets and alleys delivering signals throughout the body, from fingers, toes, skin, and internal organs, cooperating with the brain and spinal cord to keep the body functioning smoothly, safely, and full of life. If the brain is the control center and the spinal cord is the highway, then the peripheral nervous system is the vast network of streets and alleyways running through your entire body. This is where all sensations are sent to the brain, and all commands from the brain reach the muscles. Thanks to the peripheral system, you can hold a cup without spilling it, feel the chill when entering an air-conditioned room, or sense a needle prick before even seeing it. The peripheral nervous system has two main types: motor nerves that control muscles, and sensory nerves that send information from the skin and internal organs to the spinal cord and brain. When you walk barefoot on hot sand, sensory nerves instantly send a message: "Hot, pull your foot back." At the same time, motor nerves activate, making your muscles contract. It all happens so quickly that you react before fully processing the sensation. This is a vivid example of the seamless cooperation between the brain, spinal cord, and peripheral system. Everyday phenomena also show the system's sophistication. When it's cold and your skin gets goosebumps, that's a protective reflex to reduce heat loss. When you're stressed, your heart beats faster, your hands get sweaty, and you may feel shaky. That's the brain sending signals to the peripheral nerves to prepare for danger, real or imagined. The peripheral system never works alone. It constantly coordinates with the brain and spinal cord. When the brain commands run, the signal travels through the spinal cord and then through the peripheral nerves to the legs. Thanks to this network, your muscles know how to move and your heart and lungs adjust accordingly. If the network is damaged, you lose sensation or movement, highlighting its vital role. The peripheral system also reflects lifestyle and environmental effects. Eating enough B vitamins keeps nerves healthy. Smoking or drinking damages them, leading to numbness, pain, or muscle weakness. Long-term stress can make nerves more sensitive, causing headaches, neck tension, or trembling. This shows that both external factors, food, environment, habits, and internal ones, genes, emotions, personality, shape nerve health. A simple daily example: when you cook, your hand touches hot water, your eyes watch the food, your ears hear the boiling pot. The peripheral nerves send signals to the spinal cord and brain, helping your hand pull away quickly, keeping your balance and preventing spills. All within milliseconds. No conscious mind can react that fast, yet the brain is still overseeing everything. And when combined with what we learned about the brain and spinal cord, it becomes clear. The brain decides, the spinal cord reacts, the peripheral system carries out, together forming a vibrant symphony that keeps the body running smoothly and safely. In the next section, we'll explore the internal and external factors that affect the nervous system, from food, exercise, sleep, to stress and emotions, to understand how to keep it strong and clear-minded. Now that we understand how the brain, spinal cord, and peripheral system coordinate to control all behavior, emotions, and reflexes, have you ever wondered, what affects this delicate system? And more importantly, how can we protect it to keep the brain and nervous system sharp, flexible, and healthy? Let's start with internal factors: your physiology, genes, psychology, and emotions. Every brain is unique. Every spinal cord and peripheral network has its own structure. This creates differences in reaction speed, memory, thinking, and emotional sensitivity. Someone born with sharp brain genes may learn fast and remember well, but chronic stress, lack of sleep, or poor nutrition can lower that ability. On the other hand, someone with average abilities but good stress management, exercise, proper sleep, and healthy eating can develop outstanding memory and thinking. This shows how internal factors and lifestyle work together to determine nervous system performance. Chronic stress is a major internal factor. When you worry constantly, the amygdala works overtime, cortisol rises, memory declines, focus weakens, and peripheral nerves become more sensitive. This leads to headaches, neck tension, trembling hands, or even numbness. That's why stress management, meditation, deep breathing, and relaxation don't just feel good, they protect essential nerve pathways. External factors, environment, nutrition, and exercise are also crucial. The brain and nerves need energy, vitamins, and minerals to function. B vitamins, especially B6, B12, and folate, support nerve conduction and help produce myelin, the protective layer around nerves. Omega-3 from fatty fish keeps neural membranes flexible, improving learning and memory. Meanwhile, too much sugar, alcohol, or stimulants damage nerves, affecting memory, reflexes, and mood. Regular exercise is a neural medicine. Running, swimming, yoga, or brisk walking release dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, neurotransmitters that reduce stress and enhance mood and memory. Physical movement strengthens motor nerves and improves reflexes. Sleep is also essential. Without enough sleep, the brain can't clean information, memories aren't consolidated, focus drops, and stress rises. Studies show that lack of sleep slows spinal and peripheral responses and increases sensitivity to pain. For example, driving while sleep-deprived reduces reaction time and judgment, increasing risk of accidents, all tied to nervous system performance. Laughter, joy, and recreational activities also protect the brain. When you laugh, endorphins rise, stress falls, cortisol decreases, and neural communication improves. Listening to music, drawing, playing instruments, or being creative activates multiple brain regions, keeping the brain fresh and flexible. And when you step outside, sunlight touching your skin, a breeze brushing your face, trees whispering around you, the brain immediately opens up to nature. Sunlight boosts serotonin, making you happy, calm, and clear-headed. In the evening, as light fades, the brain calls for melatonin, the natural sleep inducer, helping you sleep deeply and on schedule. On the other hand, living in noisy, stressful, artificial environments or lacking movement puts continuous strain on the brain and peripheral system, leading to fatigue and poorer performance. In short, protecting the nervous system is a balance between internal and external factors. It's not just about learning theories or training memory. It's how you eat, sleep, exercise, manage stress, maintain positive emotions, and connect with nature. When you take care of the nervous system, you'll think more clearly, react faster, feel steadier, and learn and create more easily. Before we end, let's relax with some fun facts about the nervous system. I've met many people. Some solve math problems instantly, some recognize a song after just a few notes, some speak so naturally and captivatingly that an entire room goes silent. And I wonder, if someone is good at one thing, can they also be good at something else? Can people be good at everything? Over time, I realized each brain is like a unique blueprint. Math-skilled people have strong logical pathways. Music-skilled people have sharp auditory perception. Language-skilled people have powerful intersections between emotion and words. These abilities are shaped by innate factors, environment, and years of silent practice. No two people are the same, and this diversity creates countless forms of intelligence. But what excites me most is that being good at one thing doesn't lock you into it. The human brain isn't a closed door, it's like a vast forest. Wherever you walk, a path appears. A math-oriented person can learn to feel music, even slowly. A music-oriented person can learn logic starting small. A language-skilled person can learn technical subjects with time. Speed doesn't matter, each person has strengths, weaknesses, and their own rhythm. What drives progress isn't talent, but perseverance and the desire to try something new. As for whether someone can be good at everything, humans can learn many things, but being excellent at all of them is unlikely. Not because the brain lacks ability, but because life doesn't offer enough time. But truly, we don't need to be good at everything. We just need to be good at the things that bring us joy, help us grow, and make us excited to wake up each morning. Maybe the most beautiful part of every person's journey isn't when they become skilled, but when they realize that talent is only the beginning and real value comes from the journey they take. Every small step forward proves that they're a little better today than yesterday, and that is enough to be good in their own way. As our journey through the nervous system comes to an end, it feels like we're stepping out of a quiet but magical world hidden within ourselves. The brain appears as a guiding flame, the spinal cord as a flowing connection, and the peripheral system as the radiating lights through the body, helping us feel, think, and live every moment fully. To keep this delicate yet resilient system running smoothly, all we need are small things. A full night's sleep to clear the mind, a proper meal to nourish each cell, a few minutes of deep breathing to calm the heart. And amazingly, some people, even after losing part of their head, including brain tissue, still manage to build success in their own way. This shows that the brain exists not only through structure, but also through its ability to adapt, rebuild, and rise again. And the best way to improve your nervous system isn't complicated at all. Learn, experience, and allow each day to open a new pathway in your brain. Those small, simple choices you make today become the foundation of a clearer, calmer, and stronger future. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.